How's it going? Hope you're doing as good as I'm doing today. Today was a back and forth kind of day. Some bad, some very nice lifts, But I don't really have a plan, but I just was like, fuck it, what's better than just hitting the button and shooting the shit with you guys. Getting into it. Clean and jerks were slow as all shit. Oh my lord. Today was just one of those days where I mentioned it all week, but I went too heavy on my snatch day as kind of an experiment to see how much I could really push without losing my fatigue. And the fatigue, it got back to me. Anybody knows, like, if you, especially with Olympic lifting, once your core can't really support the weight like it's supposed to, a lot of that stress goes to your main muscle group. So my shoulders were just really, really burnt out today, especially my legs, my low back, all that type of shit. But we pushed through. It wasn't horrible. There were some whiffy kind of lifts today. I'm not super duper proud of my working sets, but I got to look back on the ones that I did manage to hit pretty fucking well among the constant cries for my core to go the fuck home. And then bench, we destroyed it. As I said, I have regained my redemption. Very, very happy for it. I got to 305 for 6 today and hit it. I wasn't even able to drive through on the 6th rep the other day. Again, I just went too heavy on my snatch day, so I just had so much fatigue built up at once. But I got to program everything better on this half of the week and went very, 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 very nicely. But yeah, so physically, I can give it a very nice, very solid 8.35. Could be way higher if the clean and jerks were feeling good today, but it just my body just did not want to do them. It was I'm thankful to have some wonderful pre-workout in my system. Mentally, I'll give it a very, very nice, I don't know, it's kind of one of those days where it's like I just don't really it's so back and forth today that it's hard to like pick a good in the middle way to actually show how I felt. But again, the mental's not so much about what I lift, it's about how I feel as I go through it. And I was determined, I was consistent, I was disciplined, passionate, all the fucking marks that I always want to be hitting. So I'll give it a nice 8.75, something real solid. Because again, the clean and jerk effort was not as high as I wanted it to be, but I was definitely putting in as much as I could. Like, genuinely, because I had to focus more on my technique and just kind of do the best I could instead of letting my muscles take over, which is better in the long run. I was able to really focus on my dip and drive on the clean and jerk and try to fix that as much as I could, because on a couple of them, on the ones that I was whiffing a bit, I was leaning a bit too far forward just because my core could not hold it as vertically as I wanted to. But again, that's how the shit goes. You live and you learn, and you live to love it, The consistency really does breed passion. It's fucking wonderful. On the top of that, I had really good homie moments today. A shit ton of gym homies showed up, got some good support, and it's always such a plus to have people there to support you, even though it's kind of a slow, halfway rough day, But anyway, I'm gonna digress from the lifts because I gotta figure out what the fuck we're gonna talk about. I guess what I can pull from all this is, like, I'm very excited to get into my new block of training. Tomorrow's my rest day, which I definitely deserve and of needed for. And then I'll be starting block 2 day after tomorrow, where I'll go back to my 5 sets of everything. But we're gonna up the reps and the weights a little bit. We're gonna lower the reps. Shit. We do not want to up the reps with the weight. So I'll be doing sets of 2 and for my Olympic lifts and sets of 4 for my power lifts. And yeah, it's just going to be 2 weeks of some very nice conditioning, good volume. And I'll tell you, man, people do not realize how much you will miss volume when you get really down the line in these kinds of sports. Like when you become like an actual intermediate lifter, like on the way like to intermediate, advanced or professional, whatever, like once you're not labeled as amateur anymore, like whether that's personal or from other people's point of view, whatever, it should be personal, but once you have so many years of experience and you've been doing it for so long, and you like really have to like do so much, like not nitpicking, but just like doing everything you can to optimize your training, dude, like you'll build up all these several weeks of conditioning and volume and work on your technique and your core strength and minimizing fatigue for the efficiency of your lifts, just for that one solid peak week. And dude, like I was doing the volume this month, and I was like, oh, please make it end. I want to hit PRs so bad. And now that I'm at the end of my PR week, I'm sitting here just wishing for the volume to come back. You know, it's so funny how the moment you get to put in all the effort that you had stored up for however many weeks that you were building your strength up for, you're just sitting there like, fuck me, dude. I am ready to hit some 5 sets of doubles on Olympic lifts. I do not care how strenuous it's going to be when it comes to the core and the overall conditioning, because it will be good for me so that I can hit another peak week in about 4 to 5 weeks. But, you know, I just find it funny. It's kind of like, I think programming is a lot like playing psychological warfare with yourself in a way, because you want to build, like I say this all the time, but you want to kind of edge yourself enough, as weird as that sounds, to get to the point where you want it so bad at that peak week, and you've put in all the weeks that you had to put in so that you deserve, like that you really deserve to hit those maximum weights. You know, just it feels so much better, and it minimizes injury. But just as much, when you hit that peak week that you deserved, you're just gonna sit there and be like, damn, I deserve to go back to some fucking volume now. I'm dying. You know, I honestly, I genuinely do not know how I got through an entire 4.5 weeks of just rep maxing on my previous programming. It's probably a mixture of my age and the volume that I was putting in before that program, but god damn, like it is tough to put in maximum intensity on top of maximum effort every day. But I mean, regardless of that, I guess the main thing to kind of think about is really like taking everything in. You know, it's not so much of being like, oh well, this was really shitty and this was really good or whatever, but it's more like just enjoying the effort that you got to put in, man. Like I'm rambling a little bit, so it's kind of hard for me to come up with exactly what I want to say, so I don't know how it sounds, but it is just so nice. I feel like I just did a job well done. You know, I can crack a brewski and fucking relax in my recliner and turn on the TV and fucking breathe for a night and not worry about anything. Not that I'm ever worried, but I'm always trying to put in so much like maximum effort and keep the passion up and everything running. And tomorrow on my rest day, it's just one of those days where I'm like, I don't have to think about anything. You know, which is why I love it. I honestly, I coincide my rest days with my days that I take off from doing as much like schoolwork or other work in my personal life, just so I can have like an actual rest day. You know, a lot of people will take rest days and then not actually give themselves rest. They'll just stop working out and go super hard in other areas of life that they work on. Like I've seen people be like, oh yeah, tomorrow's my rest day, so I'm gonna PR the next day after that, but I also have a 12-hour shift. And I'm like, dude, fuck me. Like, I could never. Like, I would if I had to, but shit, that is not going to be optimal for your mental state, I will tell you that. But I don't know, I've been talking to a couple people lately about like getting into the sport, or like just trying to figure out the next step or what they need to work on and all that. And it's always super important to try to think about what you want to work on and the things that you need to increase when it comes to reps, sets, percentages, rep maxes, whatever, whether it's your technique or your overall strength. But you got to just kind of remember to just fucking chillax and have fun sometimes, you know? Like this, even though this is such a strenuous sport, and it's like a lot of people will treat it like a job that they have to do no matter what, because it's like it's just become like an obligation over time. Or even people who do it for a job, and they are always not worried, but always like trying to be like, I gotta do better, I gotta hit that next weight so I can do better in the next competition and all that. And sometimes you just gotta sit there and just remind yourself that like this is supposed to be fucking fun, you know? It doesn't have to be that big a deal if you don't want it to be. So it's like, I don't know. I don't want that to seem condescending in any way, but I think so many people will get caught up, especially if you think your technique isn't as good, or if you've been comparing yourself to other people. It can get a little bit shitty just sitting there being like, man, even though I hit this new PR and I did this entire training block successfully, I still haven't fixed these few minor little things, and now I'm going to be sad about it. Because I used to do that so much, where I'd look back and I'd be like, oh, I just hit a PR on my snatch and my clean and jerk, but I'm still pushing forward a little bit, and my core strength isn't as good as I want it to be, so I should just like focus on that. And it's like, you gotta focus on the positives, you know? You gotta it is such a waste of mental energy and passion, mind you, to hit new shit, even if it's not like an all-time PR. Like, I was just hitting all sets of 3 and 6 this week, so they're not like all-time PRs or anything, but they're PRs for those reps. And even if I wasn't PRing, like on the other weeks when I was doing 5 sets of 3 and 4 sets of 3 going up in weight every week, God damn it, I was proud. You know, that's shit I haven't done before, and it's a lot of volume, and it's really hard to do, but I did it. So at the end of the day, you know, try to fix one thing at a time and take it one step at a time so you don't overwhelm yourself. But man, to be so hyper analytical, to not enjoy an absolute victory that is hitting new weight, like, oh, it makes me so sad, because when you hit your heaviest weight on anything, you can't think about technique. It's too heavy to think about. That's just literally how it is. With Olympic lifting, whatever form you see someone do at their all-time PR, that is as good as their form's going to get at that moment. Because it is harder to do good technique with less weight, because you use the momentum to whip yourself with it when you do heavy shit. So, like a guy I've been talking to recently about, like, who's just getting into it recently that wants to do better with it, he sent me a video just today and was like, oh yeah, I PR'd 185 clean and jerk for the first time. Can you tell me what's wrong with it? And I'm like, dude, I'll give you all of the advice that I can for sure in a positive way, but take this as a fucking dub. You know, this is a win. Like, you hit a PR. I don't care if you think it was a little weird or the split jerk wasn't where you wanted it to be or whatever. Take it for what it is. Like, it's a PR. Like, send me you doing your fucking 50%, and I'll criticize that at least. So it's weight that you don't really care about. But I hate, like, not that it's a bad thing or anything, and it's always great to want to do better and do good, but give yourself that wiggle room to really enjoy the moment, you know, really to fucking earn it and feel like you deserve all the things that have come to you. So anyway, this is more of a ramble than an actual topic video, I feel, but, you know, I like telling you guys how I am anyway. So that's just where my mind's at the moment, but, you know, let me know how your lifts have been going, how the lives have been going. I genuinely love hearing about it, but take it with all a grain of salt. This is just all my own shit. A lot of the times you kind of just hear my jumbled up mess, because whenever I leave the gym, I'm at my most passionate, so that's why I like doing this shit when I'm in the car on the way home. So it's nice to get out all the emotions that I've built up and all the passion that I've gathered today, so that I can put it out in a positive way, I guess. Makes me feel even better. But that's kind of all I got. You will not be seeing me tomorrow. I'm going to be eating an entire extra large pizza by myself, because that's what we do on rest days, especially when we finish a whole peak week. Got to remind you, and remind myself, more importantly, I PR'd all my main lifts this week. I hit my bench and squat rep maxes twice. So, fuck. I'm going to take this shit as a win. Love it. Even though clean and jerks felt like shit today, whatever. We did fucking great. And I'm just going to keep throwing the shit as I always do. And there's always room to make up for it in the future, as long as you stay consistent, disciplined, and passionate, goddammit. You can't live every day thinking that you're going to die tomorrow. Just do the best you got now. And if that's the best you got, give yourself the credit for it. And put in that maximum effort, even if you feel like you did a shit job. And then just do better next time. Don't bank on the future, but put hope in it. You know what I mean? So that's all I got. I got to stop fucking rambling. But I appreciate whoever's listening to it. So you'll see me when you see me. See you.